figure out if we're getting. And we need David's help to count up the number of members in person that I can't quite see.
You can't even, that Apple thing, you can't even tell the difference.
Perfect. Are you sure? Can you all hear me on Zoom?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Officially calling the meeting to order. Welcome to Queen City Toastmasters. I'm immediate past president David Jones. Tonight we have our elections and we have one speaker, Andrea Williams. She will most likely make a grand entrance just before a speech like she likes to do. But with that, since we have a full meeting, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our current president, Vanessa Waller. Take it away, Vanessa.
Thank you, David. And thank you everyone for coming to our special election meeting. So I know Jamie is our Toastmaster of the evening, and Jamie, I apologize in advance that I probably didn't explain how it would work. But the plan is to start off with the election first, provided we have a quorum. And the reason is, as David and I talked about it, we don't want people waiting too long if they need to drop out early, if they have another commitment, but we are trying to get 15 members for a quorum. So we'll go ahead and start with the elections. And David, or I guess someone else in person, I may need your help identifying if we have enough members present in the audience. I know we have a few here on Zoom, but I'm having trouble seeing everyone through my view of the club view. So I guess if we have someone who could help us kind of do a roll call, if you will, in person, that way we can establish.
Yeah, we have 9 members in person.
Okay, perfect. Let's see, 9. And then let me see how many we have on Zoom with us. 1. Okay. Okay. David, did the 9 include yourself?
Yes, it does.
Okay, let's see. Let me just recount just to make sure. So
we're 1 shy, but I just heard the door.
okay. So we have 14, which is exactly half. I think technically we're supposed to have 15, but I don't know if that's really strict. If they're really strict about it, has to be over 50% because we have an even number.
You're the president. It's your call. I would say 14 is good.
Okay. Let's go with 14. I think we've done that in the past where, you know, if it's an even number, we'll do 50%. All right, perfect. So the way this works for those who are new to the election process is there's an open floor for a nomination period for each of our officer positions. And once we have all the nominations in, then I will put it to a vote and members will be asked to say aye if they agree with nominating or electing the person, and no if they do not agree. So it's kind of, it's a little interesting on Zoom because I can hear the Zoom folks pretty well, but I may not be able to hear all of the in-person folks as well. Okay. So I'm hoping that if there are any no's that we'll be able to hear that. I don't think there will be, given that I don't believe there are many contests in this particular election. But just to, I guess, start us off, I'll start with one of our officers and then I'll move to the next one. And we have quite a few different officer positions. And I believe there's only one person that I know of that has been put into the nomination group so far. However, if you have a spur of the moment feeling like you'd really like to nominate someone who is present and can confirm if they're interested, you are more than welcome to nominate when we have that nomination period open. So to review, we have Sergeant at Arms. Sergeant at Arms is the person who sets up the meeting. They'll set up the tables and kind of get all of the technology going to start off our meetings. We have Secretary. Secretary is responsible for keeping notes at the monthly club officer meetings and a few other responsibilities. We have Treasurer, who is responsible for helping collect club dues and other related matters with the club finances. We have VP of Public Relations, and that is really social media outreach and managing the club's presence online. We have VP of Membership. This person is really responsible for recruiting new members, for introducing guests, for kind of being a liaison between the existing club members and potential new members. We have VP of Education, and this is really focused on pathways and helping members achieve their educational goals and get credit for the speeches they complete. And then finally, we have President, which is the role of showing up to weekly meetings and presiding over the meetings, and also being a general club leader. So those are our club positions. I'm being told we have 15 members now, which is perfect. We are definitely at quorum. So we'll go ahead and I'll start us off with nominations for Sergeant at Arms. So I would like to start off our nominations by nominating David Jones. Are there any other nominations for Sergeant at Arms?
Yes, please. Anyone? No, no, no. I think I'm the only one in the room. So.
All right. So with that, hearing none, no other nominations. The nominations for Sergeant at Arms are closed. All those in favor of David Jones for Sergeant at Arms, please say aye.
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 All right, perfect. All opposed, please say no. The ayes have it, and David Jones is elected to the office of Sergeant at Arms. Congratulations, David.
Thank you.
Let's move on to Secretary. I have one nomination for Secretary, Colin Stifler, joining us on Zoom tonight. Are there any other nominations for Club Secretary? All right, hearing none, the nominations for Secretary are closed. All those in favor of Colin Stifler for the office of Secretary, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. All right, the ayes have it, and Colin Stifler is elected for the office of Secretary. Congratulations, Colin. Next, we have Treasurer. The nomination I have for Treasurer is Jamie Richardson, who is currently our acting Treasurer. Are there any other nominations for Club Treasurer? All right, I'm not hearing any. So with that, all in favor of electing Jamie Richardson for Club Treasurer, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. Congratulations, Jamie Richardson, for being elected Club Treasurer. Next, we have VP of Public Relations. I have a nomination for Heather Jacoby. Heather, are you joining us tonight in person?
Yes, she is here.
Okay, perfect. All right, any other nominations for VP of Public Relations? All right, hearing none, that closes our nomination period for VP of Public Relations. All those in favor of electing Heather Jacoby, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. So that means Heather Jacoby will be elected as our VP of Public Relations. Congratulations. Awesome. All right, our next position is VP of Membership. I have a nomination for Harvey Tran, and I know Harvey wasn't able to make it tonight, but he was willing to be nominated. Do we have any other nominations for VP of Membership? All right, hearing none, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor of Harvey Tran for VP of Membership, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. Congrats to Harvey Tran as our new VP of Membership. In fact, he's currently in that role now, so he will be well prepared. Next, we have VP of Education. I have a nomination for Eric Laxer. Do we have any other nominations for VP of Education? All right, hearing none, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor of Eric Laxer for VP of Education, please say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. All right, the ayes have it. Congratulations, Eric. And finally, last but certainly not least, we have President. I nominate Elvis Lopez for President. Are there any other nominations for President? All right, hearing none. All in favor of Elvis Lopez for Club President, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say no. And the ayes have it. Congratulations, Elvis. Wonderful, and congratulations to all of our club members who were elected. And again, thank you so much for serving the club. I know it may seem like it's not really that, glamorous, but I will say, having served in club leadership for several different times now, it's really a worthwhile experience. And it also helps keep the club running. So it's something that we all kind of take for granted, but it's absolutely important to have people who are accountable for keeping our day-to-day weekly operations going. So thank you again to everyone who agreed to be nominated, and congratulations to our new club officers. We'll have to have a formal recognition ceremony coming up soon. We usually will distribute little pins with the officer title for our new officers. So look forward to that coming up. All right, I believe that concludes our election, and we did have a quorum, so we are good to go on that. So thank you all for bearing with us for the club elections. Now, back to the main part of the meeting, we do have a regular Toastmasters meeting kind of right after the elections as well, so we can segue into that. I just want to make sure, in case people need to leave early, that we could do elections with our quorum. So usually the first thing I do as president is welcome our guests before we even jump into our main agenda. And I'm looking online, it looks like we have Eugene joining us on Zoom. Welcome, Eugene. I know if it's the Eugene I'm thinking of, I believe you're a former member, so welcome. And I think we may have some guests in person as well. So I know we don't have our VP of Membership with us tonight, but we can probably still pass the mic around. That's available for any in-person guests. But for those of you who haven't met me yet, my name is Vanessa Waller. I'm the current president of Queen City Toastmasters, and usually we just like to have our guests introduce themselves, say how they found out about us, and what their interest is in Toastmasters. So
Thank you, Vanessa.
up to you.
It's Eric, and in the absence of Dr. Harvey, I can't replace Dr. Harvey, but I'm going to fill in for Dr. Harvey. And so if you're one of our guests, if you don't mind, usually you just stand up, introduce yourself, just let us know how you found us and what brings you here and anything else you want to share with us.
Hey, so I'm Devin Hamilton. I'm originally from Mississippi. I know my Boston accent probably threw you off, but no, so I found out about Toastmasters through my business partner who just said, hey, obviously we're in a sales role. It's like, you may want to get into Toastmasters. It helped him a ton. So he recommended it for me. And luckily it's right down the street from where we live. So I'm excited to be a part of the club. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us, Devin.
Welcome, Devin. Thank you. We're honored to have you here. And are you a guest as well? Okay, thank you. And please just share your name and how you found us and what your interests are being here with us tonight.
I'm Kesha. I found you, well, I heard about Toastmasters years ago. So I did a little bit of research looking at different groups online. That's how I found this group. So I decided to come in, just trying to learn a little bit more about, improving public speaking skills and just kind of, just kind of come out and socialize and network and kind of grow from there.
Thank you very much. And just for the guests, we're holding a microphone. You can't hear yourself because it really just goes to the internet. So it's not a joke. It's really just how we communicate with people who are online. Okay, thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name's Alan Assad. I second everything David said. But seriously, I am not an official member of this club, but I've been a Toastmaster for over 4 years. I am a member of a couple other clubs, both in North and South Carolina. And I like to come up and visit when I have the chance. And it's a great way, like Kesha just said, to meet people and socialize and just become a better speaker, leader, and become more confident and so on. So it's good to be here, and I hope we have a great meeting.
Good to see you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan. Yes, so you've practiced this last meeting, so I don't even have to prompt you at all. So please go ahead and share that information with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan Temple, I've been to a few meetings as a guest now. I'm a reoccurring guest and enjoy each one and keep coming back primarily to improve my public speaking skills and get a chance to exercise that skill.
Jordan, we welcome all guests, first timers, reoccurring guests, it doesn't matter. And welcome, would you like to introduce yourself as well, please?
So my name is Dwayne Pennant. It's my third time coming. I enjoy Toastmasters because it gives you the opportunity to speak and to get rid of some anxiety. So I love this, and I'm looking for a good meeting. So yeah.
Great. Thank you, all our guests.
Wonderful. Thank you, Eric, for stepping in as our acting VP of membership for tonight. And again, welcome to our guests. And I don't want to take up too much more time because I'm delighted to say we have a dynamic speaker joining us tonight. And we also have table topics, which is an opportunity to practice impromptu speaking coming up on our agenda. And to kind of guide us through the rest of the meeting, we have a Toastmaster of the evening. And tonight we have our treasurer, soon to be continuing treasurer, Jamie Richardson, as our Toastmaster. So let's welcome Jamie.
Thank you, Madam President, and greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Real quickly, if we can, let's do one more round of applause for all of our new officers. Speaking as an officer for the last 6 months, I know how critical the role is. Actually, maybe it's longer than that now, David. If I go back to Sergeant at Arms, and we couldn't pull these meetings off without all of our officers, and it's a volunteer role, so we certainly thank all of them. So I am thrilled to be here and to be your Toastmaster for the evening. around this time of year, my family and I are thinking about what trip we want to take for the summer. And inevitably, it comes down to the question of, are we going to go to the beach? Are we going to go to the mountains? And that is one of the existential questions in life. Are you a mountain person or are you a beach person? Now, our theme tonight is the mountains are calling. And so you can probably tell by that theme, which is from a quote from the naturalist David Muir, who is the father of the National Park Service, that I am firmly in Team Mountain. The full quote is actually, the mountains are calling and I have to go. And that's how I feel about the mountains. I feel drawn to the mountains. And there's three primary reasons for that. First, the peacefulness of them. When you're in the mountains, whether it's some backwoods cabin or off beaten trail, it's like you're all alone, right? You're the only person out there. Contrast that to the beach where more often than not, it feels like they're overflowing with people. The houses are stacked on top of each other. The second reason is the adventure. There's nothing like going into the woods and seeking out some hidden waterfall or some amazing rock formation or climbing to the top of a mountain to find those breathtaking views. Whereas when I'm at the beach, I feel kind of sedentary. I'm in the pool, I'm under some umbrella on the beach, or worse yet, I'm inside because it's too hot to be outside. And that brings me to the third reason, the weather. I grew up in Georgia in a house with no air conditioning. So I've had my fill of hot and humid weather. So I'm going to give you two numbers, 90 and 76. Those are the temperatures in July on average for Charlotte and Banner Elk, North Carolina. So when I'm in the mountains, it's like I'm breathing different air. So those are some of the reasons why I'm Team Mountain, but I want to hear from all of you tonight as well. So we're going to do something a little different. In addition to voting for our favorite speakers, I'm going to ask for the help from our ballot counter to also get votes from all of you for Team Mountain or Team Beach. And at the end of the evening, we will unveil whether Queen City Toastmasters is a mountain club or a beach club. So more to come on that. But before we do that, let me introduce a few of the individuals who will help us facilitate tonight's meeting. I will start with our joke master / inspirational speaker. And I didn't spend enough time up front asking him which of those two he is tonight, but please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Eric.
Well, there are no sharks or jellyfish in the mountains. So I am I got to vote. I shouldn't talk now. Oh, it's just, okay. Sorry. Okay. Oh, sorry. All right. Well, thank you, Toastmaster Jamie. So I'm going to be more of an inspirational speaker today than a joke master. And I'm going to start by telling you a little story. About a week ago, my wife and I, we were getting ready to go out somewhere for the evening, shower, get dressed, getting final touches on. And I look in the mirror and I realize I need to touch a couple things up. So I asked my wife, do you have a blow dryer? And she kind of looks at me with this smirk in her face and her eyes are darting up to the top of my head and my face and my eyes. And she's like, why do you need a blow dryer? Well, there was a day when I did because my hair was longer. So I let her know, no, it's not for my head. I have this experiment growing on my face. And so I want to just touch it up a little bit. So she hands me this blow dryer, which I turn on, and literally it blew me away. This was the best blow dryer I have ever used in my life. And it didn't look quite like a blow dryer. It was like a little different shape, the handle and the top. And there was one word on the blow dryer. Does anybody want to guess what the word on the blow dryer was? Or the brand? Repeat. It was a Dyson. Have you raise your hand if you've heard of the Dyson blow dryers before? Okay. So I was like really intrigued by this and I thought to myself, what's a Dyson? And I want to know a little bit more about this product. And I usually like to go and start doing research. So I go online And I find out that Dyson is the name of the CEO, owner, developer, inventor, whose name is Sir James Dyson. And James Dyson is from England. And he has an interesting background story, which I'm going to share with you today. When he was younger, he was really interested in art. And he went to college where he was an art major, and he initially studied interior design. He met his wife there, and she was also an art major. But he liked to tinker with things and fix them. And he decided he was going to go to engineering school. So he goes from art school to engineering school. And in the process, he started finding things that he can work on to develop. And one of the things was a vacuum cleaner. He was vacuuming his house and had problems using the most popular vacuum at the time, which was a Hoover. And so he started working on a design for a better vacuum. And he eventually, after 5,000 attempts over 5 years, came up with a prototype. And that's very reminiscent of Thomas Edison, who claims that he had 10,000 different prototypes to invent the light bulb. And not that he failed 10,000 times, but each time he wasn't successful, he learned the wrong way to do it. And so Dyson develops this really excellent vacuum cleaner, and he tries selling it to different companies in England. And none of them would accept it. They didn't believe in the product. They didn't believe in him. Hoover was a household name. They didn't think that his product would be able to take over or compete in the market. So he and his wife, who was an art teacher at that time, they leverage all of their life savings, and they start trying to sell these vacuum cleaners initially in Japan and then in the United Kingdom. And he slowly becomes more and more successful, and he slowly starts developing and working on other products that he feels like he can improve. And he went from being an art major, leveraging his entire savings, to building a company which today employs 5,000 people, spends $10 million a week on product development, and he now has a net worth of over $8 billion. So this is my message. Ordinary people like Dyson, like you and I, can do extraordinary things. And that should be the motivation from today's talk. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Toastmaster Eric. Let me introduce a few more roles tonight. Next up is our grammarian, who we have online, Toastmaster Colin.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Jamie. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. My name is Colin, and I have the pleasure of serving as your grammarian this evening. My role as grammarian is twofold. First and foremost, I am here to celebrate the use of good grammar and broaden our linguistic horizons by proposing a word of the day. The word that I have chosen for this meeting is intrepid. Normally, if I were there in person, I would write that down on a piece of paper and tape it to the lectern. So I apologize that I'm not there to do that, but intrepid is spelled I-N-T-R-E-P-I-D, and it is defined by Merriam-Webster as, and I quote, an individual or an action characterized by resolute fearlessness, fortitude, and endurance. Some examples of the word intrepid in a sentence include an intrepid explorer, or perhaps an intrepid public speaker, which I'm sure we will see this evening, or in keeping with the spirit of today's meeting theme, an intrepid mountaineer or beachgoer. And the second purpose of my role is also to note the use of dreaded filler words. Now, to be clear, I am not here to shame or embarrass anyone, but I will be tracking the use of filler words for your own learning and development, because as what is largely a subconscious act for most people using filler words, it's important to become aware of our use of filler words. And then once we become aware, we can consciously begin to cut them out of our lexicon and stop using them until ultimately one day, with enough practice, we can return to unconsciousness when we speak, but without the filler words. So I hope that makes sense. It's called the conscious competency model, which you could look up if you're interested, but I think it's particularly well suited to the use of filler words and trying to cut out bad habits. And I am certainly patient zero when it comes to the use of filler words, so no judgment from me. Anyway, that is the summary of my role, and back to you, Toastmaster Jamie.
Thank you, Toastmaster Colin. I think it's safe to say no one has ever called a beachgoer intrepid, but I like the fair and balanced approach. All right, I'd like to now introduce our next role, who is the timer, Toastmaster Heather.
Okay, this is my first time in experience, so I'm just gonna wing it. I'm here to time, and thank you, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It's green light for go, yellow light for you're almost finished, and red light your time's up. So that's what I got.
Thank you. So a bit more on that. So for our speakers, we have one prepared speaker. The prepared time is 5 to 7 minutes. So it'll be green minutes for 5, yellow at 6, red at 7. For our table topics, it's 1 to 2 minutes. So green is 1 minute, yellow 1:30, red 2. And then our evaluators will have 2 to 3 minutes. So 2, 2:33. Everybody gets a 30-second buffer at the end and still qualifies. All right. And our last role is our ballot counter, Toastmaster David.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. And to add on to what he said, for those of you that are on Zoom, if you use the club view, if you could turn on your lights, they should be able to see the lights lighting up green, yellow, red, so that you also know the time on Zoom. And it is Toastmaster Heather Jacoby is proper pronunciation of it. All right, or pronunciation. Anyways, for the guests, one of the reasons we do ballot counters is not to choose our favorite speakers, but it's just another role for you to get up here in person and talk. And then at the end of the meeting, we come up and we give out ribbons for our favorite speakers. It's just everything in Toastmasters is to get you to get up off your butt and come up on stage. So every role you see is about doing that. And that's the beauty of Toastmasters. So here at the bottom, you all have these on your tables. If you could just rip off the bottom 3 sections, it says evaluators, speakers, and table topics. And you want to do that now so that you're not doing it during the speeches, and you'll write down your favorite speaker or evaluator, and I'll come around and collect them at the end of each segment. And those of you on Zoom, if you want to send a private message to the club view, I'll come check those out. And also, if you want to use just one more and indicate whether you're a beach person or a mountain person, I'll collect those and give those to Jamie at the end. And with that, I'll give it back to our Toastmaster of the night, Jamie.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster David. So that brings us to our featured speaker this evening, and we have online Toastmaster Andrea Williams. Andrea is a prolific speaker here at Queen City Toastmasters, and I'm thrilled to welcome her back to deliver her speech. Andrea, I'm not sure if I see you there. Yep, okay. You're back. Andrea, can you hear us? Somebody's presenting, right? Maybe you're on mute, Andrea.
Apologies. I can hear. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. All right, welcome, Andrea.
Welcome to the Caterpillar Village, where we meet our main character, Lily. Lily has a dream where Lily only just wants to fly. But her mom, just like many of us, wants to protect her little Lily, and she discourages her each and every time. The moment Lily Caterpillar came into the world, she was the apple of everyone's eyes. The nurse and the doctor asked Mama Caterpillar, "Have you chosen a name for your beautiful daughter?" Mom explained, "Her name will be Lily Caterpillar, for she's my little Lily, my sweet little Lily." At that moment, Lily began to cry, as if she was saying, "Hey, world, look at me." Mama Caterpillar said, "Hush, little baby, don't say a word." And Lily became quiet. And this made her mom happy. Lily Caterpillar learned to talk and sing and shout. Mama Caterpillar sang, shh, hush little Lily, not too loud. As baby Caterpillar played quietly again, her mom smiled. As Lily Caterpillar grew, she began to crawl faster, but Mom pulled her back. Mama Caterpillar didn't want her to get hurt. Again, this made Mama Caterpillar smile. What have you done or not done to make someone smile? Have you stopped crawling faster, walking faster, running faster, speaking louder, speaking more expressive, all to make someone else happy? Has your life just become a caterpillar? Mama Caterpillar said, we are caterpillars and we have to be careful of others. As Lily again stopped, her mom smiled. Mama Caterpillar sang, black butterfly, morning light, sick dreams take flight. As Lily was writing her dreams to fly, she stopped and asked her mom, did you ever want to become a famous singer? Her mom just bowed her head because she knew that caterpillars, well, good caterpillars, they never become famous. So as she tucked her daughter into bed, she explained to her, good caterpillars, my Lily, only dream of being famous. Lily smiled to make her mom smile. Mama Caterpillar told her daughter, now let's get some rest. We have church tomorrow. On Sunday, Lily Caterpillar sat in the pews like a good little caterpillar while Mama Caterpillar sang another beautiful song. And the pastor caterpillar got up and said, our youth Sunday school verse today was Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. Our youth excitement, especially little Lily, made me excited and changed the whole message. Message today, we can do all things, church. Repeat after me, all things. As the caterpillar family arrived home from church, Lily was so excited. She just kept jumping and she kept moving. Her mom said, what is wrong with you? You must have really enjoyed church today. And the little Lily said, I can fly, I can fly. Reminding her mom that the Bible says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. Mama Caterpillar shook her head, said, what am I going to do with you, Lily? If my friends heard my child say that she wanted to be a silly thing like a flying caterpillar, they would think I was a bad caterpillar mom. What is it that you keep people from doing because you don't want people to think you're the bad caterpillar mom or dad? Oftentimes we're just trying to protect our children or protect others or even ourselves. So we just stop flying or trying to learn how to fly. She continued to tell her, caterpillars cannot fly, my child. We have legs, not wings, to fly. Now be a good girl. Crawl to your room and play with your toys. Lily sighed. Okay, Mom. Yes, ma'am. At bedtime, Mama Caterpillar wanted to make her daughter feel better. She wanted her to be happy. Do you know, Lily Caterpillar, you are so amazing, and I only want the best for you. Your first day of school is tomorrow, and you will soon learn how to be a good little caterpillar and abandon all those silly dreams and things about learning to fly. The next day, in Caterpillar school, Mr. Teacher Caterpillar asked all the children, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And some children said, "A lawyer, a doctor, a basketball player." And Lily just said, "A flying caterpillar," because the Bible says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Philippians 4:13. All the students laughed and said, "Becoming a flying caterpillar? Are you kidding me? What a silly dream." After school, Mr. Teacher Caterpillar said, "Good little caterpillars don't fly, Lily. You can get hurt. Why don't you become a teacher like me?" And Lily Caterpillar smiled at her teacher and she crawled home thinking, "Okay, I'll be a flying caterpillar teacher." Lily cried as she crawled home slowly. Like, all I want to do is be a good little caterpillar, but I still want to fly. But she kept remembering all the students laughing and teasing her for believing her dreams can come true. Have you been bullied by someone telling you what you can't do because you're a caterpillar? Guess what? Butterflies don't listen to caterpillars. And neither did Lily. So she told her mom, "I just want to fly. Mama, I want to fly." And her mom said, "Well, when I sing, I feel like I'm flying. Lily, you're a good little singer. Why don't you too sing?" Lily began singing at school and at church, making everyone believe that she had given up her dream to fly. Soon, singing no longer distracted her, and she secretly wanted to continue to learn to fly. She stopped listening to the caterpillars. So she asked her mom, "Can I join the dance school?" Her mom again was scared. She wanted to protect her Lily. But instead, she took her to the school and the teacher told her she didn't have the right body type because she was a caterpillar. She can't dance. She can't fly. But Mama Caterpillar wanted her daughter to be happy. So Mama Caterpillar was determined to find the perfect ballet class that accepted everyone, including her little caterpillar Lily. The next morning, at the caterpillar house, Lily sat daydreaming on the side of her bed when she heard a knock. Something or someone was trying to get her attention. She rushed over to the window to see what's the matter, and to her surprise, a twinkling delight, she saw the most beautiful sight. There appeared right before her dreams, a flying caterpillar. The little caterpillar thought to herself, "I have to be dreaming. It's a flying caterpillar before me." Mom said that was impossible. "She looks like a caterpillar. She looks like an angel." "She's a flying caterpillar," exclaimed Lily. Auntie Butterfly smiled and winked at her, knowing that Lily wanted to fly. Auntie Butterfly said to herself, "One day I will help you be you butterfly, little caterpillar." The little caterpillar will soon learn that a butterfly is a transformed caterpillar, and caterpillars don't listen to butterflies. God sometimes sends you an angels, fairy godmothers, or Auntie Butterfly, sparking your inner desire to fly, guiding you to transform, inspiring you to achieve your dreams, just like Lily Caterpillar. Remember, the end is only your beginning. Thank you.
It's Toastmaster Andrea. For some of our guests here, that's actually a book authored by Andrea. And so it's cool to hear the words expressed from the voice of the author. So thank you for that, Toastmaster Andrea. We will now take a timers report.
Do I just say the time? That's it. Okay. I didn't know I was doing this till I got here, full disclosure, but I'm doing it. Okay, Andrea did 11 minutes and 10 seconds. Thank you.
All right, Andrea is our only speaker tonight, so we do not need to collect ballots for best or favorite speaker. So Andrea is by default our favorite speaker for tonight. All right, let's move on with our theme. So in 2019, there was a tourism study conducted for the state of North Carolina that actually proved that the debate between beaches and mountains is really quite close. And so what they found in 2019 was that visitors to the state of North Carolina, about 26% went to the mountains. That was about 12.6 million people. 25% went to the beach. But what's notable is that the cost of a mountain trip is 25% less than the trip to the beach. So studies prove now, right, that not only are the mountains awesome, but they're affordable as well. Now, I realize that doesn't include data from South Carolina beaches, which I know are close and many of you probably visit, but I ignored those because it didn't fit in my neat little narrative package. Many of the visitors to the mountains end up going to our amazing hiking network, including the Appalachian Trail. That's on the border of North Carolina and Tennessee. It stretches 2,200 miles from Georgia to Maine. And hikes are a great way to reflect and think creatively. The poet, Henry David Thoreau, said, "The moment my legs start moving, my thoughts start flowing." And that is a great introduction to our next section, which is the table topics, which is an opportunity for all of us, including our guests in person, to get your thoughts flowing. So join me in welcoming our table topics master, Toastmaster Lon.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jamie. My name is Lon, and I am the table topics for this evening. This portions of the meeting is fun because everyone, like he said, is welcome to participate. So that, of course, includes our guests for this evening. And you won't know what questions you will be asked because that way it'll help you to practice your impromptu speech and as well as to help you think well on your feet. So without further ado, do I have the first volunteer for this evening? I forgot your name. Stewards. All right. Your question is, what's your ideal adventure and why?
Thank you, Lan. To give you all an idea of my ideal adventure, I first have to say that, Jamie, I think you've overlooked a very important category here. There's actually a third option in the beach versus mountains, and that is the lake. May not have as much to do as the beach or the mountains, but for a quick getaway, the lake is my favorite. And that's because I find a great deal of solace and tranquility in fishing. Normally when I come up here, I like to talk about golf. So this is something fresh for you all today. However, this past weekend, it's got me in a spot of trouble. Saturday morning, it's 2:30 a.m. and my alarm goes off and I'm pumped. I'm already up 20 minutes before that, making the coffee, fishing gear on, ready to go. We drive to Lake Murray, South Carolina. We get on the boat at 5 a.m., still pitch black. The boat captain fires up the outboard and we are racing out to the lake, 45 miles an hour, pitch black, no lights on. So quite dangerous, as you can imagine. But we have a great day. We end up knocking out the park as far as fishing goes. We catch 10 huge stripers, 5-6 pounds. And if you're not familiar with striper or striped bass, it's a delicious tasting fish and a lot of fun to catch. Now, this is the tricky part. We get the fish home. My brother and I decide we'll clean the fish in the backyard. we've never done this before. Literally my first time holding a fillet knife. Thankfully, I don't manage to cut any fingers off. We fillet the fish, we cook it on Sunday. It's beautiful, everything goes well. The problem now becomes what I did with the remaining parts of the fish that we didn't eat. I double, triple bagged them, wrapped them up tight because I do not want fish parts lying in a plastic bag in 90-degree heat this time of year. Today, Tuesday, is trash day. I see my trash can with the lid open at the end of the driveway, and I think, okay, thank goodness the trash has come. They took the can, I'm good to go. And I go out there just to have that cursory look, you know, put that fear at the back of my mind at ease that the bag of dead fish parts is gone. And I can get within 6 feet of the trash can before the smell and the sound of flies hit me. Of course, the bag's still there. I slam the lid closed and run in the opposite direction. And as you can imagine now, my wife is very unhappy. So that, fellow Toastmasters, is what has brought me here tonight, to get me out of the house and hopefully get me off the hook. Thank you, Lan.
All right, do I have a second volunteer? Yes, right over there. I forgot your name, sorry. All right. Dwayne? Okay, Dwayne. All right, your question is, if you could learn one new professional skill, what would it be?
Thank you. Wow. Man. One new skill. Honestly, I've never thought about that. For the word. So I guess my one new skill would be how to fix cars. So I grew up in Jamaica, and where we lived, it was a small neighborhood. And I always remember people working on cars. It was also like a junkyard too, where there are cars that were there too as well. And we'll go and play with cars that are broken down. I never quite understood why. I come to America, I'm more grown up now, and I remember getting my first bill for a car and not imagining, like, what did the guy fix? It was like $1,000 to do something simple. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, maybe that's the right price because it's an engine, you don't know exactly what to fix. And then gradually I began to work on cars myself, not to the extent that I would charge someone $1,000, but an oil change and changing my tires here or there. And I realized that it wasn't as difficult. And I kept thinking back to that $1,000 bill I got and wondering, did he really charge me honestly for that work that I did? So I guess if I had to pick a skill, and a skill probably that I'll probably use a lot would be to fix a car, because I'm wondering if I get ripped off at times. I'm not sure. So that's really it.
All right, do I have another one, last one on Zoom in person? I can't forget your name. I probably shouldn't ask this question because you're gonna do it at the end, but can I do it? Okay. All right, studies have shown that people who prefer the beach are more of an extrovert, and people who prefer the mountains are introvert. I'm sorry. My question to you is, are you a beach person or a mountain person? And do you agree with the statements?
This whole time, as you were speaking about mountains and the beach, I was asking myself, what am I? Am I a beach person or a mountain person? I proposed to my partner in the mountains 3 years ago, and that was the first time I ever been to the mountains. I'm from New York City. Coming down here was a blessing, seeing the mountains, having the mountains, but having the beach as well. But then I think I realized that I am a mountain person, and being a mountain person just allows me to be with my thoughts, allows me to have a memory of me proposing to my partner and just having a good time barbecuing and just seeing the scenery. Awesome. And over the years, when I was younger, I was an extrovert. I thought I was. I think I just wanted to be liked. I think I just wanted to have those relationships, to fill the space in my mind and whatever it was. And as I grew older, I started realizing that I am more of an introvert, that I like to be by myself, that I like to spend time with the closest people to me, not everyone. So with that statement, I'm not sure if it's exactly true because there are private beaches, but I'm a mountain person and I think I'm an introvert.
At this time, I would like to ask for a timers report. Heather?
Okay. For the table topics, Stuart came in at 2 minutes and 54 seconds. Dwayne came in at 1:21. And Junior came in at 1:30. Good job, guys. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Toastmaster Lon, and thank you to all of our table topic speakers. I promise I didn't plant that question or that amazing testimonial that I agree with wholeheartedly for all of you beach lovers out there anyway. All right. So the Appalachian Mountains were formed around 500 million years ago, and they collided, or they formed from the collision of Africa and North America. And at one point, it's believed that the mountains were actually as high as the Himalaya Mountains. But over the eons, they gradually subsided due to erosion from rain and wind. And in fact, the Appalachian region is known as a temperate rainforest. It receives about 50 to 60 inches of rain a year. Compare that to Seattle, which I always think of as the rainiest place in the country. That only gets about 37 inches. They've also measured wind speeds on top of Grandfather Mountain up of 125 miles per hour. So it just goes to show you the forces that have been at work over on the Appalachian Mountains over the last 500 million years. As we move to our evaluation portion, think about that, right? Because constructive feedback that we get is a lot like the erosion that has shaped the Appalachian Mountains. It rounds us into more polished speakers as well. So please allow me to introduce our general evaluator.
Step by step. So I'm really excited about it.
Okay, thank you for that warm introduction, Toastmaster Jamie. I indeed will be serving as the general evaluator for tonight. And as Jamie alluded to, the reason for you guests that you join Toastmasters is to improve. And this is the key aspect of the meeting, to really learn and grow and take it to the next level. And the only way you do that is by hearing some constructive feedback. That being said, my job as general evaluator, I have a couple responsibilities. One, I'm going to introduce our evaluators for tonight. Two, I will bring up I'll be going to Colin for our grammarian report to see how we did on our filler words. And then finally, to share a couple general thoughts about the meeting, how well it did, some things that stood out to me. So without further ado, let's keep moving. Let me help introduce at this point, Sean Sohai, who is going to be evaluating Andrea Williams' speech. Sean?
Thank you, John. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, honorable guests, returning guests as well. Great to see you all here, and especially Andrea. As you all heard from Eric earlier, this is Andrea's book, BU Butterfly. Andrea, thank you very much for sharing that book with us today. And what a beautiful story is as well. As you started to narrate and go into the book itself, and you talked about this character, this intrepid character, Lily, who is not afraid of anything. She wants to fly. She has so many dreams
about everything that she wants to go and do. And I really like how you started that, because it really touches the hearts of everybody, not just children, but also adults as well. We all have dreams. So the message was very clear as you're going through the book. You talked about Lily, the caterpillar, going through school, telling her classmates, telling the teachers what she wanted. She wanted to fly. She told her mom that she wanted to sing. And you narrated that back and forth. I really like how you narrated the discussion between her and her mom, and your voice went up and down. So that was nice. So we could see a contrast of when you were, or when Lily was talking and when her mom was. So that was a plus when you're going through the story. At the end, you started saying, or at the end, the Lily started to not compromise, but she started to listen to the other teachers and listen to the kids, but still have a small voice inside of her, knowing that she wanted to fly. But she told her mom that, I want to try ballet and I want to be, she was trying to be accepted. And I think that was kind of the message that that was the message that you're trying to portray through that book. And then at the end, when Lily woke up the next day, she saw this caterpillar, and this caterpillar was flying. And so that kind of tells you that, even though we have these dreams, sometimes they're very ambitious. Hold on to those dreams, because at some point, they might come true. And if you're persistent enough, they will come true. Couple pros, as I had mentioned, is that your voice was going up and down. So that kind of gives a good indication of when there's a strong point that you wanted to make. You raise your voice up to project, hone in, or to exploit that point. And also what you did well was have the slides up here. What you could have done better, and I think what I know this is your first time showing and kind of not showing, but just being able to display the book and what you have. I think next time around, reduce the pictures. I think having more images and not narrating word for word would be more better. I think that would be more helpful to the audience, especially if you're going to be showing this or telling the story to kids. I think if you have less text and more emphasis on the pictures, that would be more helpful. So I think that's an improvement that you can make. Other than that, I think the narration was fine. Maybe also in the sound as well. I heard some chirping sounds of some birds in the background. If you could lower that volume just a bit, I think that would be helpful. It was nice to have, but if you could reduce the volume, I think that would be helpful. Other than that, congratulations on the book, on the deployment. Going from 0 to 1 is very hard, and you were able to get all the way through. So great job. I'll turn it back over to our general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sean. Excellent evaluation. Could I please have a timer's report?
Thank you, Toastmaster John. Toastmaster Sean, you came in for your evaluation with Andrea at 4:02. I'm an intrepid timer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Heather. Okay, before I bring up or I call on Colin for the premiering report, let me just share a few thoughts on the meeting more broadly. First, let me just say, first and foremost, congratulations on all the new officers. Again, you are what makes this club work, and I appreciate all those that served. Vanessa, particularly David, for the continued hybrid contributions. It's appreciated. We should all just walk in and say thank you every day. So thank you. First of all, let me start with Toastmaster Jamie. Toastmaster Jamie, I would just say that you already have this poise and aura about you. What I noticed particularly that I want to call out today, that the theme was fun and it engages the audience, but you've always been a very confident speaker. But what I wanted to call out today is that You were far more animated, a lot more smiles. And I think that little addition, little exclamation point to your already very well polished speaking really adds a touch that engages the audience and helps us feel really at home. So I wanted to call that out in particular. Inspirational master, Dr. Eric, using the story. The story, I am a big fan of stories of if we're going to remember anything, you remember a story. If you're going to remember a message, even if you forget the message, if you remember the story, it triggers that memory. So great use of using a story, and it was informative and inspirational. I would only, one constructive criticism, right at the end, you kind of tailed off, and I wanted to hear that last powerful point, like the most important point, you kind of tailed off at the end, and I didn't quite hear it. So just something to keep an eye on. Grammarian, Colin, really thorough explanation. So kudos to you. You always have this clever wit about approaching a role. He puts a little different creative spin on it. And I think as a result of that, it just makes it interesting. A lot of Toastmasters, we get into this repetition of what a role is and what we expect. And Colin always puts a nice spin on it. And if you think about it, for any role that you serve, the better and more thorough explanation, the Toastmasters have heard it. The guests, though, are walking in here for the first time. So when you were very thorough about your role, it just helps to help them assimilate. Heather, and even though our Toastmaster Jamie had to help you out, kudos for starting as I believe your first time as timer, right? And I think you found your groove as you went along. Ballot counter, great job, David, as always. Tabletop topics, Lon, I just want to highlight that I think over the 6 months or so, at least that I've seen you, that you continually to grow in confidence, your volume and projection, which I think when I first saw you was kind of low to the point where it didn't capture the crowd. I think it's starting to really improve. So keep it up. Just keep climbing that mountain. Finally, Sean, especially on your evaluation, you highlighted very key points, which as you first start in Toastmasters, everyone thinks content, but there's so much more outside of that. And highlighting the way Andrea has her vocal inflections is what makes the story interesting. If you speak, I always say, there's a little tip I used to learn from an old Toastmaster. If you don't use vocal variety, he compared it, if you speak on a monotone, it's like riding a train. And what happens when you ride a train? You fall asleep. But if you ride a roller coaster, on the other hand, it's far more interesting. And I think that's what Andrea does well. And Sean, you highlighted it perfectly. Overall, I thought it was a great meeting, and I couldn't be happier for our new officers, and I'm excited to be a part of it. So thank you. I'll turn it back to Toastmaster Jamie.
Thank you, Toastmaster John, as always, and Sean as well for the evaluations. All right. Has everyone gotten all their votes? Anybody not made their decision known? Oh, grammarian, yes. All right, well, while our grammarian is going, we can make sure if anyone hasn't gotten a vote, please deposit it to David or put it online. So let's go to our grammarian's report now. Toastmaster Colin.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Jamie. I'm looking at the clock and realize that we are short on time, so I'll strive to make things brief. Overall, this was a phenomenal meeting in terms of the use of filler words. In my 6 months here as a member of the club, I do not think I have seen a meeting where fewer filler words were used, so kudos to everyone. The mot du jour of the filler words that were used was and the individuals who need to keep that top of mind for next time are Vanessa, Sean, Jamie, myself, and Dwayne. Next most prevalent use of filler words was Sean, Lon. Please keep that one in mind as well, as I just pound out 2 more uhs of my own. And then the remaining filler word use is so, like, and David, Dwayne, Junior, and John. Push you to keep those in mind. And special applause to Sean and Heather for the use of the word of the day, intrepid. Very well done, everyone.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster Colin. And I'll echo John's comments from earlier. I always enjoy your spin on the grammarian's role. Thank you. All right, Has our ballot counter had enough time to tally the results? John. Yeah, let's do that. How about let's do final guest comments real quickly before we get our final results, which I know everyone can't leave until we know the answer to. All right, I'll do it. Yeah, we'll go quickly around. Last guest comments.
It was a really good meeting. I'm always impressed by how thoughtful and creative the responses are, from the improvised table topic responses to the more choreographed Toastmaster speeches. So really enjoyed learning from you guys and watching, and thought it was a great meeting.
Thank you. All right, we have another guest over here. Just final thoughts.
Oh, it was really good. I suppose I should say it was a really great meeting. I enjoyed it. First time. Definitely. Look forward to more.
All right, we look forward to having you come back. All right, and one more.
All right. Yeah, I just echo what everyone else has said. I mean, it was a great meeting, and just wanted to point out Eric. And again, I'm about to tell you how impactful it was, and I can't remember the exact context that you used it, but when you were talking about the Dyson on your face, you started describing, my forehead down through my eyes, and I'm peering down. You could picture it. It was like I could feel the Dyson blowing on my own face. Don't have such a magnificent beard, but you could feel it nonetheless. So I enjoyed it. Looking forward to more.
And Dwayne's been a frequent guest, so we'll give him the night off for the rest of it. All right, over to our ballot counter.
All right, so for the mountain and beach, I didn't get a vote from you because the reason is it's a tie. So we're gonna have to go with mountains in it. That's your vote. So, but it was a tie. So you're equally. All right. Well, first I want to start by giving out our newest member, Junior. Junior joined last night. I get the little updates that say, yeah, the new member thing. So Junior, congratulations. And it is where leaders are made. So congratulations for joining the club. Appreciate it. All right. Now for our table topics, I'm going to have to be the heavy on this one because there was a winner and there was a second place person. But unfortunately at Toastmasters, we have to keep within time, and it's 1 to 2 minutes. You have a 30-second grace period. And unfortunately, Stuart went to 2:54. He doesn't qualify. Therefore, our table topics winner is Junior. Okay. Congratulations. Your sorry, dude. Good story, but sorry. Favorite evaluator, of course, goes to Sean by default. You would have won anyways. Whoever you were up against. Congratulations. And of course, Andrea is our favorite speaker of the night. So back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, thank you. All right, it has been a pleasure to be your Toastmaster this evening. I think I did a good job of making my case of why the mountains are a more inspiring and peaceful and exhilarating vacation for you to take next time rather than the beach. And a majority of you firmly agreed with me. So I encourage you to take the time over the summer, wherever your vacation is, go to that. One of the best things about Queen City Toastmasters is the diversity of opinions here, but I think we can all agree that North Carolina has an embarrassment of riches when it comes to our natural resources, whether that's on the coast or in the mountains. So thank you. And with that, I will turn it over to our president to close out the meeting.
Thank you, Jamie. Excellent job as always as our Toastmaster of the evening. And thank you to all of our speakers and role fillers tonight. You all did an excellent job. I did want to give a quick reminder / announcement for our incoming officer team. It turns out next week we have opportunities for officer training, and we try to encourage all of our incoming officers to do the training session because it actually helps our club get points to reach distinguished club status. So even if you have done the role before, it's great if you can still make the training. There are a few next week, and there are also some coming up in July if you can't make it next week. So next week on Tuesday, June 14th, we have training for Sergeant at Arms. That would be David, VP of Public Relations, Heather, and VP of Education, Eric. And then Wednesday, the next day, we have it for VP of Membership, Dr. Harvey, and also Treasurer, Jamie. And finally, Thursday, it's everyone else. It's President, new President Elvis, Secretary Colin, and myself. So that's a reminder if you're able to make it next week. And these training details haven't been posted yet, but I will forward the information. Usually it's on Zoom for convenience. All right, given that we've had a chance to touch base with our guests, I think that is all for tonight. If there are any other announcements from club officers, let me know. Otherwise, I will let everyone go. Sounds like we're quiet. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you again, everyone, and congratulations again to our wonderful incoming officer team. We'll look forward to seeing you all next Tuesday. Great night.